Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Gavin Reads All the Manga. In this video, I will be doing my second Frieren Beyond Journey's End reading vlog. If you have not yet checked it out, I have done a reading vlog for the first 3 volumes of Frieren, and those are the first 27 chapters as well. So in this video, I will be covering volumes 4 through 6, and those are chapters 28 to 57. Let me double check. 57, yes, I was correct. Now, I have never read through Frieren before. This is my very first time, and I've never seen the anime either, and I don't know where this gets up to in the anime, so I don't know what episodes these volumes cover. But if you're a seasoned anime fan, then I hope you still take something from this manga reading vlog. I will want to watch Frieren at some point. I did actually watch the first episode after my first vlog of it, and it was so beautiful. The music and everything just like really enhanced it. And there were even like little embellishments to certain story aspects, which was really well done. So I will definitely be checking out the anime once I've like caught up with the manga. Oh, and I've got to knock at the door, of course I do.
Hello, I've
Hello.
got this for you. Sorry about your box. It's a little bit wet because I rode outside and it's raining.
It's absolutely fine.
It's still alright because it's still cardboard.
No worries, that's fine. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so my box was wet. The box I just got delivered. That wasn't a euphemism. But I'm just so ready to take the day to just read through these volumes of Frieren. So please do join me on this journey. This will be filled with spoilers. If you end up enjoying the video, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's start reading. So I've just finished the first 5 chapters of this volume. I've just finished chapter 31, and now is probably a good time to give you a quick little update. I don't think there's really too much to say at the moment. Frieren and her friends are just like traveling, and it hasn't been as exciting or as like captivating as the first few volumes have been. But I will say it's amazing to have Sen join. Hello Topu, are you coming to join the group? Because we did end volume 3 with the possibility that he might not join, and he was saying, "No, I'm not going to join, I'm not going to come." Like, he wanted to be an adventurer, and people in his village, even his own brother, said he's always wanted to be an adventurer, but Sane for some reason was holding himself back. But then we found out that he was holding himself back because he thought that he owed his brother to like stay in the village, because he set his brother off like a certain path, and his brother is in that village because of him. So it was cool to see like what was holding him back, and it was nice that Frieren was able to like get him out of it. It was so funny when like Sane's kind of thing is that he's into older women, and so Frieren is like, "I've got this, I'm an older woman, I'm an older lady," and she has this seductive move where she just like blows a kiss, and it doesn't really work. It doesn't really. That was so funny though. And I love the fact that all of these priests in this world, they do seem corrupted. I love the fact that Finn was like, "Oh, you know what helps with like make you feel better? Alcohol." And Frieren's like, "That damn corrupt priest, what did he teach you?" So I have found it funny. Oh, actually, before I move on from saying, his main goal is to find his best friend, who said he was only going to be away for 3 years, but he's actually been away for 10 years. So it'll be really interesting to see if that plotline goes anywhere, if he ends up finding his friend or not. I think it's pretty cool to have like each of them have some kind of goal. It's not just about the adventure, it's not just about like the specific mission they're on, but actually to, you know, have something like a tangible goal. I think it's pretty fantastic. Like, I'm quite invested to see if he does find his best friend and if his best friend is still alive. So Finn had a birthday as well, and Stark gave her like this flower, this mirrored lotus, I think it is. And it's kind of the same one that Himmel gave Frieren. And apparently it means, like, this is what Satan says, the meaning of the flower is eternal love, something you would give to your beloved. And obviously like Stark didn't realize that's what it meant, but Himmel might have known. When you have that little bit of a flashback and you see him give Frieren it, it seems that he might have felt a little bit more for Frieren than we initially believed. Maybe. There might have been something there. Something there that wasn't there before. So it'll be interesting to see if we ever find out, you know, like Himmel's true feelings towards Frieren. But yeah, we managed to get to this cursed village where everyone's been put to sleep. It's the first time that Sane has been able, I'm probably saying his name wrong, I do apologize. But like Sane, his skills are put to the test. Let's just say, like, when everyone starts to fall asleep, his skills are put to the test. He manages to wake Frieren up for 5 seconds, and she manages to take down that weird flower kind of creature monster thing. So that was pretty good. But like, so far it has just been a kind of like fragmented journey, like kind of side quests and side hustles. At the minute, it's not really like working towards like the main plot or anything, which is fine. Honestly, I do like the fact that we are seeing a very accurate journey where every day isn't, you know, fighting monsters and like going on like the main quest. Like, it feels very accurate to what a random ass fantasy adventure would be. We are just mean people going to new villages, taking down monsters along the way, and they're just having fun and getting to know one another. It's just lovely. It's so nice so far. Nothing too serious or heavy just yet. Well, goodbye, Sane, I guess. Like, this is so like hard to get used to, how quickly it is to see someone like enter the party and then leave the party, but then also to see the time passing so quickly as well. So I have finished volume 4, And yeah, like I'm used to, like, say for instance, One Piece, when someone joins the Straw Hats, they're pretty much there for life, you know what I mean? And you kind of see like every aspect of the journey in a way, and it's like very like boom, boom, boom. In this one, like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love Volume 4. It wasn't like my favorite or anything. There was like a bit of meandering, and I totally get it as part of the journey. It is part of like, you know, showing the passage of time and just appreciating being with one another and the memories you make along the way. And it's like about a lot of the small moments as well. It's not just about the big epic moments, but the small moments too. And there was definitely a lot of like character building. Some of it is a little bit repetitive, like the stuff between like Finn and Stark. I don't really love all that kind of stuff, because usually it's just like Finn getting offended at something Stark does, and then Stark has to apologize, and that's kind of like a little bit boring to me at the minute. But that's pretty much like the end of like where I'm being negative. The end of this volume definitely picked up for me, because the final chapter is when they finally get to that magic town and they're about to take the exam, so like Finn and Frieren. And it's so funny because Frieren's party that she has to like join, you had to be like a team of 3. Frieren's party's already having a fight, but what I love, one, that we got to see Kraft again, because you know I fancy the absolute pants off that elf. Oh, just look at him. Look at him, he's beautiful. But the fact that he ended up coming across Ubel, who has the eyes of a killer. I love this. You have the eyes of a killer, and I just thought of Twilight, you know, when Edward says, this is the skin of a killer, Bella, or something like that. I kind of got that kind of vibe. But Ubel, like, she's now in a team with Fern. Looking forward to working with you. That's kind of scary, considering, you know, she just randomly killed someone. Yeah, she was disqualified for killing the first class mage who was the examiner for the second class exam 2 years ago. Like, she's a murderer. And there were bandits that were torn apart essentially by her when Kraft mentioned it. And I'm just like, okay, she is unhinged. She is definitely unhinged. So I'm very excited to see where her storyline leads up. If we even spend that much time with her, or if we get to see much of her anyway. Like, this is the thing about Frieren, it's been so predictable. I don't know who is going to be with us for a long time, who's going to be coming and going. It's very apt to like real life in that sense. Sometimes you can't tell if someone's coming into your life forever or for just a short period of time. And so I do really like that. I enjoy that. I am kind of glad that Sein Sen is going to find his friend. It was very interesting that we got the statue of like 2 heroes, and they look like Sen and his friend, Master Gorilla. That was pretty funny. That was really cool because, yeah, they looked like them. And like one of the heroes was Kraft. And so Sen's best friend looks like Kraft. But I wasn't really taken by the whole storyline, you know, when Stark had to pretend to be that guy's son because his son had died in like war like 2 months before. And so Stark needs to pretend to be him just for a little bit so that they can like get some more money and stuff like that. I didn't really care for all that. It didn't really interest me. It was a nice bonding experience between Stark and Frieren when Fern had a fever and they had to go and collect some ingredients. Oh, and I loved, actually, I genuinely did love this bit. I didn't care for the whole like fever bit, but I did love the fact that Frieren held Fern's hand. And I loved it when Finn was like, Mistress Frieren, I'm no longer a child. And then Frieren says, I know. And then Fern smiles. It's like, yeah, sometimes even as an adult, it's nice to be comforted. It's nice to be, I guess, like treated like a child sometimes, to know that someone cares for you and is looking after you. That's kind of something that, again, like we got from Himmel when Himmel was comforting Frieren when she was ill. I love that connection in how Frieren has adopted that into her own life and how she treats Fern the way that kind of Himmel treated Frieren when she was sick. I love that. Like, that was like so touching. I just love that little smile between them. It was so cute. So yeah, more character building, more like character interaction building, so their relationships are developing and getting stronger, and I do love that. But now that we have this exam happening, I am definitely a lot more invested. But volume 4 was probably my least favorite volume so far of all the Frieren volumes, and that's absolutely fine. Like, not every single volume is going to be like a winner. It's not going to be a hit every single time. There are going to be great and bad volumes, and again, like, this wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite. Okay, so finished volume 4, and now we're going to go on to volume 5. But first I need to make some food. I'm so hungry. Also, the new episode of Jet Lag the Game has come out on Nebula, so I need to watch that. But yeah, so far it's been like such a nice chilled Frieren day. Okay, you're not going to be the biggest fan of me at the minute, but I'm really not feeling the current arc of Frieren. I'm finding it a little bit boring right now. And I usually do like, you know, exam arcs. I usually do like those kinds of storylines, but I just find like it's kind of meandering a bit, and I'm just not that invested or interested in what's going on at the minute. I think because in volume 5 we got introduced to quite a lot of new characters. Maybe I just couldn't quite keep track of everyone. And plus, we only had really Fern and Frieren in this entire volume, and Stark wasn't really part of it until the final chapter. It just felt, I don't know, like, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm sorry. I did like Loine and Kan, who were part of Frieren's team. I love the fact that they kept fighting at the start. They do know one another and they have grown up together. So I kind of like their dynamic. I also like that one of them said to the other one that they were cute when they smiled. And I was like, is there like some kind of like sapphic thing going on here? Because that would be awesome. But then the other one said gross, and then I don't think it's actually a thing. But like, it's still, I found that like quite a charming moment. And I love the fact that Frieren actually took charge and she had ideas and she brought them forward, considering Frieren isn't really considered the leader, or like, at least she doesn't see herself as the leader. So I kind of liked that she did take charge. I love the fact that she was able to work very well with other people. And I think, you know, with her having done that, it will potentially help with, you know, her teamwork with Fern and Stark when they get back to adventuring. But this does feel like a massive roadblock at the minute. You know, it just feels like we've stalled the story, like, and it shouldn't really, because there is a point to it. We do need to try and get them to pass this exam so that they can progress, absolutely. But I don't know, like the whole trying to catch the bird and having to be there until like sunset with your entire team, and just like all of the kind of fights and stuff that went on, I just wasn't that interested. There were just too many new players into it that I couldn't have cared. I couldn't have cared. I'm so sorry. It was amazing to see how powerful Fern is, and she pretty much won a battle over someone by just using defensive magic. So it is incredible to see Fern's progression there, even though we don't really get to see a whole lot of it. Like, we don't really get to see that battle itself. It's still quite nice to hear about, but I think maybe because I didn't get to see that, it didn't have as much of an impact on me if I had have seen it. Obviously, Frieren is incredible. The fact that she was able to break through the barrier as well was phenomenal. And even the stakes of it as well, because there were actually some mages who died during the exam, which I found pretty intriguing, considering, were they supposed to die? Like, are they allowed to die? Like, is this even supposed to happen? Another character mentioned something about like how it felt a bit wrong that they could allow mages to die. But then they were saying about, well, if they died, then they obviously weren't powerful enough or good enough to continue being mages or something, which I find a little bit odd, but I digress. It still imbued some excitement into this volume, just like saying that, oh, mages can die here. I liked Werble as well. Werble was a new character during this arc, and I quite liked him as well. Proved to be a very capable fighter, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do with Stark next as well. He wanted Stark for a certain reason at the end of this volume. They've got to deal with a Fresser or something, and they needed a warrior for it, so I don't know, is there going to be like some bonding moment between them? Maybe. Denkin and Richter also piqued my interest a little bit. Richter seemed like he was about to kill Frieren's teammates, and that kind of made him a little bit antagonistic and also bloodthirsty. We're seeing a lot more bloodthirsty mages now as the story progresses. Like Ubel, she is very bloodthirsty, but you know, she does, you know, hold back. Sometimes like she could have killed someone else and she held back. She was talking about like empathy and like being able to empathize with someone. So that was quite intriguing. So I will keep an eye on her, because she does actually, like, out of all the new characters we're being introduced to in like this volume and the previous volume, she's the one I'm kind of the most intrigued by. She's actually imbuing some more excitement into the story. And now the second exam should be a lot more interesting than the first one. I hope it's a bit more of an interesting plotline than just like capturing the bird and staying together until sunset. I hope it's a lot more interesting than that. And apparently the past exams that Sens has been in charge of, no one's passed. So that again does add a bit more stakes to the game. So I don't know if Frieren and Fern will both pass. I imagine one of them might get caught out. I do think someone's going to have to pass this exam because we do need it to progress in the story. Otherwise, they're going to have to wait like, what, 3 years until the next one? So I do think one of them's going to pass, but I have a prediction that maybe Fern might not pass the next exam, and then Frieren will have to pass it in order for them to progress and be the first person to pass Sense's exam. That's my prediction. Again, I'm so sorry that I haven't been loving the volumes I've been reading today for Frieren. I'm hoping upon hope that maybe volume 6 might turn this around and we can end this vlog on a high. But maybe this is just like the slump. You know, every manga series has it. Unless you absolutely love this, you know, volume and this story arc, then I do apologize. It's obviously not going to be a slog for everyone, but at the minute it's feeling like a little bit of a slog. But I'm still very hopeful that I will enjoy this, and I'm sure I will. The heavens have opened. It has been raining like pretty much non-stop. It's quite atmospheric. It's quite nice and lovely. So I'll settle down now. I'll get myself all nice and cozy. And hopefully by doing so, it will allow me to enjoy Volume 6 of Frieren more than I did Volumes 4 and 5. Okay, good news, everyone. I did actually enjoy Volume 6 of Frieren much more than the previous 2 volumes. I love anything to do with the dungeon, and the fact that we had a dungeon raid as the second exam was actually very exciting to me. To see the clones of the people, and the fact that in order to pass this exam, you do have to work together as a team pretty much, and also like learn like strengths and weaknesses of not just yourself, but like of your opponents. Because to pair one of the mages with a clone who you think you would be able to defeat, a strength that you would have over them, was actually a very, very cool tactic in order to like progress in this exam. And then to have like the Frieren clone and all of that was like really, really cool to see. I liked a lot of the action sequences in this, some surprising bits as well. I thought like, damn, like some people were actually going to die, especially I think it was Loeen who got like skewered essentially, but still lived. That was a really intense and cool section because we've seen mages die in the previous exams. And fortunately, no one really died in this exam, but it was pretty thrilling. Like, I love the whole atmosphere of the dungeon. I love the environment so much. I love the way that the artist illustrated the dungeon. It made it a lot more of an interesting story to follow than in the previous exam because we've seen a lot of, you know, the outdoors and trees and forests and stuff. We've already seen a lot of that. So to have like a dungeon setting, it just thrilled me, okay? Like that one was really, really good to do. And I love the fact that it was a place that was rife with mimics. And to say Frieren keep getting caught in these mimics is just so fun. Like, and even she still has like this hope that, you know, like just that 1% will actually not be a mimic kind of thing. It was just like so endearing. It just shows again Frieren's relatability, and even Frieren's relatability as well when she didn't tell them what her weakness is. And when Finn asked her like, hey, why didn't you tell us that? She was like, I was embarrassed. And Finn was like, we don't have time for that right now. Like, we actually need to defeat your clone. So like, come on. It just like makes Frieren just such a great character still. And even though I have been rather critical, I guess, of the previous volumes that I read in this video, it's still great to say Frieren as a main character. I love her as a main character. I think she's fantastic to follow. She is still so endearing. Even while the plot is meandering, she's so endearing. And I will never stop loving the dynamic between them. We didn't get any of Stark in this volume again, which I am starting to see as a bit of a weakness for this series, is when one of the core 3 aren't featured as much. It kind of loses a little bit of charm in a way, because I think one of the fundamentals of this story is the dynamic between them and the relationship between them, in that blossoming and developing is just so great to watch unfold. And to take one of them out of the equation, it doesn't make it as impactful, I guess, but it was still really cool to say like Finn kick ass in the dungeons, to say Frieren kick ass in the dungeons. That was awesome. Loved like some of the fights with the gargoyles. Like there were gargoyles that came to life, and they had to break like this golem thing in order to leave the dungeon safely and like not die. I just love it. It felt a little bit like a video game, and it kind of reignited a bit of a spark in me for this series, because I was like, okay, volume 4, I was like, okay, you know, we have a little bit of a stumble. Volume 5, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit concerned here that it's not going to be a series for me. But I think volume 6 definitely reminded me why I even enjoy Frieren in the first place, especially when Sense asks Fern. Fern doesn't seem that passionate or anything. She just seems to be there. And Sense asks her why, and she was like, my previous master, I made him happy, and now I'm making Frieren happy, and it's so great to see her be made happy. And that made me understand Finn a little bit more as well, when she kind of has these moments of almost being a brat in a way, or she's like a little bit unfair to Stark, for instance. I can kind of understand where she's coming from now, and I always appreciate when the mangaka explores those characters, even just like little moments. Like Finn didn't get a whole lot of development in this arc, but those touching little moments definitely built up, and now she is like becoming a much more fully formed character. Ubel as well continues to surprise me when she ended up helping, I think his name is Land. She ended up helping him, even though she kind of knew it was like an illusion, and she didn't really have to do that. She kind of got a sense of him. Like, she's pretty good at reading people in a way. So I really am so intrigued by her. Like, out of all the new people, I do hope that we see more of her in the future, because everyone else isn't as captivating, because again, like, we do still have a lot of new characters, and there were quite a lot of scenes in this as well when it was just the new characters and you didn't have Frieren and Fern to be our anchor into that story because they're the characters that we've, come to know and love over the past few volumes. So we'll have complete scenes without any of our main characters. It just felt a bit weird. It felt a little bit odd. Kind of don't love that aspect of it. But the scenes with Land and Ubel, I definitely did like more than anything else. So I think that was a step in the right direction. But I think it is because Ubel as a character just like intrigues me to no end. Like, what do you mean she's kind of a bit of a serial killer? Like, she's killed people and sometimes she has no remorse and stuff, but there is an empathetic side to her, and there's something about her and her abilities that requires empathy. So again, it's confusing, but I'm enjoying reading about her. And I might have read her totally wrong. There might be some things about it that I'm not picking up as much. But yeah, the second exam was good. We have a bit of a moment when Fern's staff is broken, so Frieren ends up getting it fixed after, upsetting Fern about it. And we do kind of get I guess some of the flashbacks are feeling a little bit repetitive at the minute, because there are only so many times that we can see Frieren learn some human empathy and some kind of thing there. And for us to go back in time and see a flashback of Himmel and him teaching Frieren something, I'm just I kind of feel like we've had this kind of lesson already, but that's okay. It's still quite nice to go back in time. I am starting to feel like the series is getting a little bit repetitive for me personally. The flashbacks aren't feeling as needed and necessary as they did back in volumes 1, 2, and 3, but it was still nice to see that touching moment where Frieren tries to get that staff fixed for Fern, because we understand that Frieren cares for Fern and wants her to be happy. The third exam was with someone called Siri, and it's just essentially just an interview, and she failed Frieren straight away, which was kind of funny. So I did get that prediction wrong. It does look like Fern might be passing, even though she's asked Fern to be her apprentice, which Fern is what? No? That's funny, but I can't wait to see where that goes. Is that anything going to happen there, or is it going to be shut down straight away? I don't know, but that would be pretty funny. But Siri I find quite fascinating as well, especially since Frieren has a history with Siri, if that's the right way of saying her name, especially since Siri does want to kind of gatekeep magic from everyone else. And when Frieren's master died, who was Siri's apprentice, she didn't really seem to care all that much, and she doesn't want just normal people to learn about magic and stuff. Remind me a little bit of Witch Hat Atelier in a sense, but Siri and Ubel are two characters that I do really like. Actually, it turns out I really like them. Their motivations aren't always crystal clear, and that actually intrigues me a lot. So yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. Definitely an improvement over volume 4 and 5, but I didn't quite love the storylines we've explored in this batch of volumes. I'm sure once we passed if the third exam is literally just that interview, and now Frieren's failed it, and Fern, I don't know what's going on with Fern and how we're going to progress with that. But I'm very excited now to move past this arc and hopefully get back to, doing some adventuring and kind of going back to the roots of the series with the themes of memory and friendship and all of that with our core three. With our core 3 characters. So a little bit more stock would be fantastic. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I will be covering volumes 7, 8, and 9 pretty soon of Frieren. Not 100% sure when, because I am a little bit busy this month before I go to China next month. But there will be another Frieren reading vlog coming for those volumes, hopefully within the next month. So please do like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already for more Frieren, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.